So I'm finally getting to this blower. I've already taken the air tube off. I've already kind of gone over this thing a little bit. I took the gas cap off just to see if there's any fuel inside it. There's definitely old fuel in there. We're gonna have to take off this side cover here. Before I really get too far ahead of myself with this thing, when I first set this thing down on the ground, Black Widow had crawled out of it. So I'm not gonna be surprised at all if there's one inside. You definitely have an egg sac. Black Widow egg sac right there. No time for those spiders, boys. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this off before I really start, tearing into this thing. And we also have what appears to be a ground wire that came off, which is probably why this thing quit working for the guy. So I just vacuumed out the whole inside and cleaned it up pretty well. Inside of the carburetor throat looks really clean. I did notice though that the primer bulb is cracked up and damaged, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that and throw on another one that I have off of a spare carburetor. So I had to find another correct size primer bulb that I had off of yet another carburetor. And I'm also replacing the fuel lines now because the old ones are extremely brittle. I don't mean they're not pliable, they rip really easily. And when I was removing them off of here, it left on, about that length of fuel line still on the carburetor stem, and it ripped off very easily out of the tank. So I've got to pull the filter out of the tank anyways, and I'll clean that out. I'm also going to have to run some new fuel line into the tank. Not a huge deal. I've got plenty of new fuel line to go around for this little guy, so hopefully we can get it going. New fuel lines, new primer bulb, and I cleaned out that old filter and reattached it. Unfortunately, the filter that I did have on hand wasn't the correct size. It was for a bigger diameter fuel line, which this is a smaller diameter one. So in a pinch you can do that, clean those old filters out. It's not really going to hurt anything. I know some people like to change them out new and they're very staunch about that, but honestly I'm probably not going to sell this blower. I'm probably going to keep this one if it works, so I'm not really too worried about it on my own personal equipment. So all I got to do now is just reattach this ground wire, and it actually goes into the side of this part right here. You guys can see that, but it just goes right into the side right there. And I think there's a bit of the old wires and stuff in there that I got to clear out because they're kind of in the way. So hopefully I can get this fixed. And now the ground wire is reconnected. If this thing runs properly, I am eventually going to just solder it onto there so it won't come off again, but I think where it is, it should be fine for now. So now I'll just throw some 50-to-1 gas in it and see what happens, I guess. So I only gave it about half a tank. Let's see if the primer bulb works. And it is definitely cycling as it should. I'm going to cycle it a few times. Alright, let's see what happens. I'm going to leave the cover off and I'm going to leave the tube off just for now. I just want to start this thing and see if it'll run. If it runs good, I'll put everything back together. If not, I'll probably pull the carburetor off and give it a good cleaning. And the pull cord's right here. I can live with that. and stop button even works. So I think it's running good enough for me to just want to call the gamble on this thing and not clean the carb out. I know some of you guys might balk at that a little bit, but hey, I'm lazy. These are my tools. And I'm probably going to keep this one for myself, provided it runs well enough. So I'm going to go ahead and slap this thing back together and see what happens. Also, now I got her all back together. I can't believe all these fixes I got from this guy, that weed trimmer, this thing, and the lawnmower have all been easy fixes. And I have a feeling this thing's going to run really good. Wow. I think I still have it on half choke. Didn't make a difference. I mean, it's just idling. It probably won't. The thing runs really smoothly. That is probably about the quietest leaf blower I've ever used or ever had. Let's see what happens. Definitely happy with that. I think I'll keep this thing for a little while. After all, I did get rid of that Toro leaf blower that I had, which was a gas one. But seeing as how this was technically free, but I did have to, you know, maybe a few dollars worth of fuel line and everything else, gas included. Can't beat that, boys. I'm definitely happy with that. So till next time, boys, you all stay classy.